It's interesting because when I've spoken to climate activists before, both on this channel and elsewhere, they've been claiming that the IPCC has been not radical enough. They say, because the IPCC put out this report a year or two ago saying that the world needs to reach net zero by 2050. The Greta Thunbergs of the world say, no, that's wrong. The scientists are wrong. We need to get there by 2030. To some extent, are the IPCC somehow more moderate than they're being presented by a few people?
Well, I mean, if you want to kill everyone in the world by depriving them of energy, yes, the UN is too moderate. But if you it's pretty obvious the basic flaws of this. So imagine you had a report about vaccines that only looked at the negative side effects of vaccines and didn't look at the benefits. That's basically the IPCC, because all they're designed to do is study the negative climate side effects of fossil fuels and not talk about the benefits. And the most egregious example of this, if you look through, I've looked through the multi-thousand page reports, they do not have one mention of the fact that climate-related disaster deaths are at all-time lows. Imagine that. It's a climate report. They don't note the fact that we're 50 times safer from climate-related death than we were 100 years ago. That's like a polio report that doesn't talk about the polio vaccine. So this is a totally biased report that's only designed to say negative things about fossil fuels.
It does interest me in this conversation that, yes, we may accept that the world is getting warmer, maybe freak weather events may be getting more common, but the world's ability to deal with those events is what matters in terms of outcomes, rather than those events happening themselves. Have we lost that in this conversation? The idea that if we enrich ourselves and therefore make the climate worse, there may be the ability better to deal with that worse climate?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's my background is as a philosopher primarily. And I think the key philosophical issue here is our goal a livable world or an unimpacted world in climate? And the UN is basically operating on this idea that we should not impact our world, and particularly our climate, but we actually should be impacting our world, including our climate. And we absolutely do impact climate with CO2 emissions, but all the benefits, it's not all negative, by the way, but even when there are negatives, the benefits of fossil fuels and industrial civilization are so much greater. And if you look at, again, the UN reports, they don't acknowledge this at all. If you go to the website energytalkingpoints.com, just search IPCC, and you'll see a lot of quotes from them that just show they do not at all value the amazing world we have, a world where since I was born in 1980, extreme poverty went down from 42% of the world to 10% of the world.